As soon as I found purpose, overcoming lust became easy. And it's important that you overcome lust too, because lust is a number one potential killer. It steals your time, it steals your energy, and most importantly, it steals your confidence. And the more confident you are, the more successful you are. So if you want to achieve these great dreams, goals, and desires that you have in your heart, you need to learn how to overcome lust. But lust is not easy to fight. It's literally defeated some of the strongest, greatest men to have ever lived. So if you don't fight back, it's going to easily defeat you too. And unfortunately, most men nowadays will never reach their full potential and they'll amount to nowhere near where they were supposed to get to because they haven't overcome their lust. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how finding purpose helped me overcome my lust and how finding purpose can help you overcome your lust once and for all as well. There was a king, and this king was a great king. He had great morals and values, he cared about all of his people, and he always led from the front. He was a great leader. But one day, when all of his men were at battle, just this one time, he decided, I want to chill. This one time, I just want to relax. I don't want to go to battle with my men. So, he was chilling in the palace. And as he was chilling in the palace, he was on his balcony and he was looking over this great city that he was in charge of. And he saw down in the corner this beautiful woman. She was so drop dead gorgeous, and she was showering, and she was singing Hallelujah. And he was seduced by that. He was like, she is so gorgeous. So he told his men, find out who that woman is. And his men come back and they say, okay, she's beautiful, but she's actually married, and you're not supposed to just take a married woman. But the king, even though he had great morals and values, this time was like, oh, wait, she is married, but she's beautiful. It won't matter this once. Like, no one's going to know. So he sleeps with a woman and he makes her pregnant, which is now even more of a problem. And he's panicking. So he says, okay, let me send her husband to the front lines, because obviously at the front lines, you're going to face the enemy first and you're likely going to die. And that's exactly what happened. So this king had done this horrible thing. This woman had had a baby, even though she was married to this other man. But this king wasn't the kind of king that would usually do that. So what led him to do such a horrible thing? He was bored. He didn't have anything to do. He stopped chasing his purpose. And that's because idle hands are the devil's workshop. When you don't have something that you are chasing, a goal that you're pursuing, it's so easy for you to fall into troubles, fall into lust, and just do stupid things in general. I remember when I didn't have goals that I was pursuing. I didn't have a strong why, a reason for actually getting up in the morning and just, bouncing out of bed. And lust used to be so much more tempting for me. I'd be on my phone and I'd be scrolling through social media sometimes. And now, I'm way more tempted to watch this video that's lustful versus watching something that's educational or is actually going to give me some sort of value. And to be honest, if you're chasing after hard goals, you probably won't even be on your phone as much. You won't be on websites you shouldn't be on because you have more important things to think about. Like, think about the last time you were locked in. Like, maybe you were locked into in a game on your phone, in real life, playing football, or maybe you were locked into a conversation with a friend. If anyone comes with something that's not important, you're just like, yeah, bro, it can wait. Like, leave me alone. That's what you're like when you're locked in with your goals and lust tries to come to you. Obviously, like, the thought will come, but you're not going to entertain it. And that's actually something that's really important. A lot of people beat themselves up when they have these thoughts that are lustful, but that's not right because the thought itself isn't actually a problem. The problem is entertaining that thought. Like, think of a bird flying over your head. You can't control a bird flying. Like, the bird has its own free will, with its wings and everything. But you can control if that bird now lands on your head and builds a nest and has lots of eggs laid, and now there's lots of other birds there. That's what happens when you have a thought. It's flying over your head, but if you start dwelling on the thought and entertaining it, that's when it can start laying a nest on your head. So the thought itself isn't the problem, it's entertaining the thought. But when you're locked in, these thoughts don't get entertained because you're focused on something much bigger, much greater. So you need to overcome your lust by setting hard, unrealistic goals. And I don't just say unrealistic by accident, I say it on purpose Because the more unrealistic your goals are, the more you're going to have to work to actually achieve that thing. If you made your goal, oh, my goal is to do 10 push ups, like 10 push ups are easy. Anyone can do that. But if you said, my goal is to do 10,000 push ups in 1 hour, phew, now you're going to have to train so much harder to get that done. Obviously, the push ups is just a random example. But the harder your goal is, the harder you're going to have to work to achieve that goal. The crazier your inputs are going to be. So now you actually have less time to just be faffing around, being lustful. Now that's the reason why this king fell, and that's the reason why so many men fall to lust. They have nothing to do. They're just bored. Like when you don't have a purpose, you're going to distract yourself with pleasure. Purpose is the antidote to lust. Purpose helps you focus on what's important, and now nothing else matters. Even girls who, you might be messaging because you're bored and you have nothing else to do. All of a sudden, that's not going to be appealing anymore because you have purpose. And now you're actually going to pursue girls who will only add to your life, that will only help you get your purpose, that will only benefit your life and make your purpose easier to achieve, because that purpose is so important and it's so hard to achieve that anything else that's going to be a distraction isn't going to entice you anymore. It's crazy because boredom doesn't just cause lust. It actually causes so many other bad things as well. I was at a party a few years ago and it was this family friend, and she was a good person. She didn't have any dodgy friends and she didn't even live in a dodgy neighborhood. But we were at this party and the party was supposed to finish at 7 maybe, but everyone was still there at 9 because no one wanted to go home. And I was there just chilling. I came late anyway because I'm a cool guy, Cool guys turn up late. You know that. And I'm eating rice, talking to some girls, just chilling. And this person out of nowhere goes from having fun to just getting angry. He now brings out a knife and he's going around like, bro, like, what did you say? He's getting angry for no reason. I have no clue what's going on. I'm just in the back eating my rice. But now I'm like, I'm not trying to get stabbed. So I start moving away, into another area. And this guy goes past everyone. He like shows everyone he has a knife. Like, don't mess with me. But the point I'm trying to make here is that only happened because this guy got bored. Like a lot of parties are fine. But as soon as a party ends and then people just hang around because they don't have anything better to do, that boredom now leads to problems. Boredom is the problem. You're bored and that's causing problems. You're not going to start stabbing people. But the point is, when you have nothing to do, you're going to find something to do. And that something to do that you're going to find when you have nothing to do is usually going to be something that's unproductive, that's lustful, that's violent, that's just lazy and won't add any value to your life. And we don't need to just have unrealistic goals for like, okay, this is what I want to achieve in 10 years or 5 years or a year. Another way that you can overcome lust by being purposeful is actually having a goal for the day. So a lot of the people who find themselves falling into lust, they don't have a plan when they wake up in the day. They just wake up and they're like, oh, hey guys, hey today, what am I going to do today? And now because they don't have anything planned, they're just going to find that they don't do anything productive. Because if you want to actually achieve your goals, you need to reduce friction. Like if you want to go to the gym, the best way to ensure you go to the gym is to put your clothes out the night before, so you don't have to think about that. And now all you have to think about is just putting those clothes on and then going to the gym. So in the same way that it's easier to gym when the clothes are there and you don't have to think about it, the night before you go to when you go to bed, before you go to bed, write down a plan for the next day. So you wake up with intention. And when you wake up with intention, now you're less likely to fall into lust because you actually have a plan. You actually have a goal that you're working towards for that day. So we're not just going to have a goal for a year. We're going to have a goal for the month and a goal for each day. And as we're chasing and pursuing that goal, lust isn't going to be as appealing anymore. As soon as you have more important things to think about, as soon as you have that purpose, pleasure becomes so mundane and boring, and it doesn't even entice you anymore. It's not going to catch you any longer. So this is how purpose helped me overcome my lust. And now I get to the point where I have lustful thoughts, and I just think, bro, I have more important things to think about. Like, bro, I gotta achieve these goals. Or there's a girl who just wants short term gratification. She just likes how I look, and she doesn't want anything long term with me. And I'm not even interested because I'm so locked in that I'm like, bro, unless she's the one, unless she's the girl I'm gonna marry, like, I don't have time to waste. It's not that I don't think she's pretty, like, she's beautiful. I'm sure everyone else would be like, OD, you're crazy. But I don't have time to waste with that girl because I'm locked into my goals. So being locked in, having purpose, having something that you're working towards that's difficult, it makes it so much easier to not fall into lust. And you don't even have to think about it because you just know, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm focused on, this is what I'm pursuing. So that's how you do it. That's how you overcome lust. And if you want more advice like this, I have a full blueprint, a full guide. This is just like one of the 30 lessons in my guide on overcoming lust. And you can get that in my community. The link will be somewhere around the description. And if you want to ask me any questions about overcoming lust as well, or anything else linked to self-improvement life, just send me a DM on Instagram and I'll get back to you. I'll see you in the next one.